to bring to the stage Reverend Shannon Fleck Spidell.
Good afternoon.
Nicki Minaj.
Yeah. Please join me in a spirit of prayer, however that is most comfortable for you. Holy One of many names, we who are many gather here today in a spirit of thanks and a will for action. We find ourselves in a place where the voices and needs of women are being silenced every single day. And we know your alarm rises with ours. With your help, we call upon leaders, policymakers, faith leaders, and neighbors to remember that there is no place for shame and judgment in the holistic lives of women. There is no faith tradition that holds those values, and no sanctuary to be had within its shaky walls. Our prayers and eyes are open today. Our prayers are with the youth being denied a comprehensive education and are never empowered to the gift of a healthy sexuality. Our prayers are with the women being denied the right to be proactive with access to available and affordable contraception. Our prayers are with the woman who has to drive hundreds of miles to obtain a safe abortion, only to be shouted at upon entry. And our prayers are with each woman who finds judgment, ridicule, and shame based on another person's perceived morality. Our trust lies with you and with one another in the prayers of our hearts. Thank you for your love, and thank you for an embrace we can only hope to pass on to one another. In your spirit and grace we humbly pray. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Spidell. How brave. To reiterate something that she said, anytime it holds one back, anytime it oppresses one person, whatever it is unjust. Whatever it is. Be it the church, be it our government, whatever it is. Nicki Minaj. Taylor Swift. No? Sorry. All right. Yay! I didn't hear it, but yeah. Now we're rallying, okay? All right, so the next person I want to introduce is the founder of Arkansas Transgender Equality Coalition. And also a friend of mine. Ladies and gentlemen, Andrea Zekas.
Thank you so much. What a beautiful crowd. Yeah. My name is Andrew Zekas, and I am a transgender woman. And most importantly, I'm a woman. I live, I work as a woman. I am proud to be a woman, a human being worthy of dignity and respect. I am thankful for the opportunity to speak to you today. You know, the Williams Institute says 1 out of 10 people knows a transgender person, and therefore our issues often can go unnoticed. That's why I'm humbled with the chance to talk to you about my experiences on the steps today and why reproductive justice is important to me and to others like myself. The framework of reproductive justice is the right to have children, the right to not have children, and to parent those children in safe and healthy environments. Someone's gender, whether they are transgender or not, is not a factor in determining whether they are a good parent. Research shows the quality of the relationship between the parent and the child, not their gender and their gender expression, has the greatest influence on a child's development and well-being. And there's no evidence that the children of transgender parents will end up being transgender themselves. I would someday like to be a mother and love my child regardless of their gender identity. As a transgender person who underwent a transition, I face medical decisions about my body which would limit my ability to reproduce and ultimately lead to sterilization. Worldwide, transgender people may encounter laws requiring sterilization as before getting the gender marker changed, and for intersex people, surgeries performed on their reproductive organs to make them appear more male or female without their consent. Reproductive justice impacts people like me. So before I started hormone therapy, I was able to freeze my own sperm so that one day I may be able to have a biological child and raise a family. My family supports my decision to preserve my reproductive rights, because we believe in choice and access and education. And that's why medical decisions for transgender people should be between their doctor and themselves, and not outdated laws which require surgery to change birth certificates. Transgender people can face problems in employment, voting, their safety, their difficulties in getting their matching documents changed, their IDs changed, and making it more difficult to provide and support for their families. Transgender people are 4 times as likely to live in poverty, encounter discrimination and oppression, face greater chances for homelessness, incarceration, and contracting HIV. The risks are higher for persons of color, who are 8 times more likely to live in poverty. Nationally, transgender women make up 70% of the LGBT victims of violence. 2/3 of them are trans women of color. And the Human Rights Campaign reports that 1 out of every 1,000 murders is a hate crime against a transgender person. That's someone's child, that's someone's partner, that's someone's mother or father. Following the values of reproductive justice, loving and supportive parents of transgender, intersex, and non-binary children in Arkansas should have the right to raise them in safe environments with the same expectations to succeed as any other child. When I was a young child, I felt and acted different from the boys in my neighborhood, and over the years I found in my heart and in my mind that I identify with a different gender, a woman, and making the social and physical changes to make my outside reflect what I felt like in the inside. And for many years I didn't know the word transgender. And as I endured bullying in school, trying my hardest to fit in, conform to expectations, and out of fear of being rejected and harassed. And when I finally learned the word, I didn't know where to go to help or how to pay for it. I felt shame, not knowing how to explain myself to my friends and family when faced with negative media stereotypes. I didn't meet someone like myself until I turned 30, and only then my life made sense. And all I can say is the support and love of my family and my community made all the difference in getting here today. Yet statistics show more than 50% of transgender people have encountered rejection from family members, and 41% of them attempt suicide. The answer is early education. Now, there are certainly challenges to raising a healthy and happy transgender child. In schools, federal law protects transgender students from bullying and harassment. Yet trans and non-binary students report high rates of bullying, even difficulty accessing an appropriate restroom. Much like transgender adults, transgender children in Arkansas encounter small numbers of doctors, therapists who can provide necessary cultural competent care, sometimes having to travel 2 to 3 hours to see one, and encounter expensive costs due to insurance policies which exclude transitional health care coverage. And these exclusions exist here in Arkansas. So I leave you with these words. The legislature must once again approve funding for the private option. More Arkansans, including transgender Arkansans, have been able to access affordable health care, which they would not otherwise receive. Access to coverage, access to providers, and education, which helps empower transgender, non-binary Arkansans as well as all Arkansans to make the best futures and the best decisions for their future. Trans justice is reproductive justice.